Today we're talking about left hand finger placement. Welcome. Welcome to the studio. My name is Cassie and I'm a professional violist and teaching artist. So I wanted to talk really quickly today about your left hand finger placement. This is a really common mistake that I see with a lot of my students that's preventing them from playing really well in tune. So, playing the viola we know is not the most comfortable thing in the world, right? Nobody walks around with their arm in this position on a daily basis. It's just weird. We unfortunately have to make sure that our elbow is far enough underneath our instrument so that our fingertips are not going down on the flats, but on the tip. The tip of your finger is where the bone is closest to the skin, and that's actually going to get you less surface area on the string, which is going to result in better intonation. So I'm going to face the camera. This is incorrect finger placement. My fingers are very flat. There's no curve to that first knuckle there. My elbow's not underneath the instrument. It's kind of swung wide towards my back. This is not going to get me very good intonation. Let me show you from this angle too. So this is a no good. My wrist is even slightly collapsed. We don't want that. So the very easy fix for this is obviously to swing your elbow a little bit further underneath the instrument. Now before we do that, because this is kind of in a hyper stretched position, I want us to do a little stretch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pinky, it's actually all of my fingers, and I'm going to wrap it around the fingerboard. Looks like this, from this position, so that all those fingers are wrapped around the neck. And I'm going to stay in that position for like a 10 count. So let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And let that go. That should feel like a gentle stretch. You might even want to shake your arm out a little bit. We're going to do that one more time. And after we do that, we're going to take our fingers, and I'm going to take my fourth finger and place it on the C string, third finger on the G string, second finger on the D string, and one on A. So let's do that stretch one more time. It should feel very gentle. Make sure all those fingers are wrapped around the neck. And you're gonna feel a gentle stretch kind of on the outside of your arm here. Make sure that your elbow's far enough underneath so that you're not having to strain too much. And when I say go, we're gonna take that fourth finger and we're gonna put it on the C string, and then one finger per string after that. So let's try that. 4 on C, 3 on G, 2 on D, 1 on A. Now make sure that that feels comfortable. Make sure your elbow, you can kind of play with the position of your elbow. Where am I able to be most on the tips of my fingers? Maybe I need to swing a little bit more towards my belly button. Maybe I'm too far underneath. Maybe my thumb is really, really squeezing. You can tell if the tip of your thumb starts to turn white. So you might want to do a couple taps. Loosen that thumb up. Make sure you're on the fingertip still. And then let that go. Now when I say tips of the fingers, your finger going down on the string should look just like this. So the tip, not the flat. You can even see, I don't know if you can see too well in here, I've got little indentations on the tips of my fingers. When I was first learning to reposition my fingers, I had to kind of make those indents and then draw it in pen so I could make sure that I was going down in the right spot. So let's do that stretch one more time. Right around the neck. Nice and comfortable. This should feel a little bit easier the more you do it. And let's take those fingers again. 4 on C, 3 on G, 2 on D, 1 on A. And again, make sure you're on the tips, not the flats. You don't want that first knuckle collapse. You need a nice curve there. And let's try tapping. So I'm lifting and plopping that pinky, then lifting and plopping my 3, lifting and plopping 2, and then 1, and then finally thumb. And let that go. So hopefully this is feeling a little bit more comfortable. One way you can tell if you're on the tips correctly is if the sound of your instrument sounds really, really clear. I'm going to play it incorrectly and then correctly, and hopefully you can hear the difference between what's right and what's wrong. So this is the incorrect way. I'm going down on the flats of my finger, not the tips first. So this is the flats. The sound is kind of diffuse. I can't really tell what the pitch is. Let me clean that up by going down on the tips now. The intonation is much more clearly defined. The note is ringing. So if you find that your notes sound kind of dead, it could be because you're going down on those flats and not the tips. The next exercise I want to do is lifting and plopping. So I'll show you that in playing position and then we can try it together. I'm going to show you backwards so you can see it a little bit more clearly. So I'm going to take my left hand, I'm going to take my first finger on the D string. I'm going to practice lifting and plopping. And I'm going to hope that I hear a pitch. If you hear nothing, you're not quite striking the string with enough weight. From this side, second finger, and it's just my second finger going down, third finger, and again, you're going to aim for that tip, not the flat. You might need to swing your elbow underneath. And now fourth finger. This is the one that people struggle the most to make a sound on. So I'm just doing that in scale order, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, it's just one finger plopping at a time. It's not 1 and 2, 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just one. Once you've got that down, you can make fun patterns for yourself. So let's just try it 1, 3, 2, 4 on the D string. So I'm going to lift and plop 1, 3, 2, 4. And again, I'm activating that base knuckle or my lowest knuckle. I tell my students it's kind of like baby's wave. That's going to really help you get that power that you need to depress the string. It's not like you need a lot of power to depress the string, but it's going to help with that placement of the fingertip to go in the right spot. Once you are really comfortable with plopping just one finger, we're going to practice leaving a finger down. So for instance, I'm going to leave my 1 down. I'm really going to make sure that it's on the tip. My elbow is swung under. I'm on the D string right now. I'm going to leave my 1 and practice plopping my 2 high and then low. You should hear the difference in the pitch. And again, if you're looking with your nose down the fingerboard, you're going to see, are my fingers going on the tips or the flats? So tips, flats. You can see there's a big difference there, and my elbow swung way far out towards my back. So let's try that one more time. Leave 1 down, plop 2 low, and then high. Now can you leave 1 and 3 down and plop 2 high, low? Remember to not squeeze with your thumb. You might need to tap it a little bit to release it. So again, leave that 1 down, leave yet 3 down, hop 2 between high and low. Do that a couple times and then shake it out. And try that one more time. Leave 1 and 3 down, plop 2, high, low, high, low, high, low. So you get the idea. You can make whatever patterns you want for those fingers, and that's going to really help create finger independence, and it's going to help hopefully keep those fingers going down on the tips. So most important thing to remember is we don't ever want the fingers to go down the flats. We don't ever want our wrist to collapse. That's going to create that poor position, and we need to make sure that our elbow is swung underneath towards our belly button. So I hope this was helpful. Just a few quick exercises for you. Just check in. Let me know. Were you placing your fingers on your tips? Were you on the flats? Were you doing something else that was a little bit funky? Let me know in the comments, and thank you as always for joining me, and happy practicing.